decarbonizing and green innovations in sugar production facilities.
My presentation is on decarbonization and green innovation in the sugar industry. The chairman talked on some element of the same, so he actually made my work very easy. He talked on quite a number of the elements. Now, I was boxed into 4 thematic areas, which I'm going to talk about. The first one is emission reduction, carbon capture, concentration of technologies. The second thematic area is innovation in waste to energy, conversion and organic effluent treatment in the sugar sector. And then the third one is investing in energy efficient machinery and retooling outdated mill processes. And finally, the thematic area that I'll talk about is about creating green factory certification frameworks to reward sustainable practices and open new markets. Under that thematic area, there are 2 key issues about emission reduction, where we have bagasse, and for reduction to be done, as you are aware, or if you are not aware, if bagasse is combusted or heated when it has a lot of water, it produces smoke emissions. So you have to dry bagasse first before taking to the boiler. Otherwise, you will generate a lot of emission. Second aspect on bioethanol, we have the molasses and fermentation processes, distillation. But the waste that comes from there now, in order to reduce the emissions, we have what we call advanced biodigesters for boiler usage, and other than doing what is called flaring. Flaring is a process that you are burning the extra gas or extra biogas. Under the carbon capture and other technologies that are related to it, one of the areas that we are talking about is biogas production. Second aspect is improved agricultural practices, which involves minimum tillage, cover cropping, afforestation, reforestation, green harvesting other than burning, and then finally, trash retention. The third aspect, which is under research, is on industrial carbon capture, storage, and then it will be injected into the ground. The last aspect there is about, currently, which is being done, is CO2 captured and used or recycled in other facilities. Under the second thematic area, under innovation in waste to energy, conversion and organic effluent treatment system, the innovation currently that is present there, which the young people can pick up from, is that this byproduct called spent wash, it looks like that. That spent wash is the most difficult organic waste in the sugar sector. It is very difficult to treat it. It has extremely very high BOD. All environmental issues we have in this country to do with sugar industries are related to spent wash. However, because of innovation, let's see what happens. Now, the sugar industries, about 2 or 3 of them currently, have innovated on how to deal with that spent wash by, first of all, using the technology, the mechanical vapor recompression, which is known as MVR, or multi-effect evaporators, MEE, to concentrate the spent wash. So the first thing is to concentrate the spent wash. There are 2 technologies currently. The first one is more effective than the second one. After you have concentrated the spent wash, it is mixed with bagasse. Currently, some of those ones who are generating energy out of it at the ratio of 60 to 40. 60 to 40. Then after mixing, you incinerate the mixture, generate steam, and there you produce your power. The dried incineration product, ash that comes out of the entire process, is also a very good fertilizer. So that innovation has really sorted a lot of problems that the sugar industries were having. Instead of discharging to the environment, which was a problem, now it is earning them a lot of revenue in terms of power and in terms of organic fertilizer. Another area of innovation is in handling bagasse. This bagasse in most of the sugar factories, if it's not handled well, because they don't have any usage of it, it causes a lot of leachate and fugitive dust. Areas of operation where NEMA, when it is visiting this factory, it is issues about fugitive emission from bagasse. Now, the innovation under bagasse is cogeneration, which the chair talked about it. Under cogeneration, you are getting two things. You are getting heat that is used in the boiler to produce sugar, and two, you are getting also steam that is passed to the turbine, and then you get your power. So cogeneration means those two things. Getting the heat for the boilers to produce sugar, and also getting steam that produces power. The other usage of bagasse, after you have gotten your power, there is the ash that remains, is also very good organic fertilizer. It's used in manufacturing organic fertilizer. Bagasse also currently is being used in carbonized biobriquettes, and I'm happy, I think there will be presentation on that effect, and also in paper manufacturing. So under the innovation in organic effluent treatment system, currently we have very advanced system that recovers biogas. This is mainly with distillers. When they are handling molasses after they have gotten the ethanol, now they use advanced aerobic digesters to produce biogas, which again is used in the boiler, and thereby saving, other than using furnace oil 100%, most of them you'll find them using 60% biogas and 40% furnace oil. Again, there is also an output of biofertilizer, which is very rich in potash. Under investing in energy efficient machinery, there are three key areas to look at. Milling process. The target is to increase extraction efficiency through installation of fourth generation diffusers and use of double roll millers. The other element of it is to increase efficiency in terms of boiler efficiency, to target to increase thermal efficiency. And those are the elements of the boiler efficiency. Fluidized bed combustion, we have that. Advanced combustion controls. We have optimization of evaporation to ensure steam economy through vapor bleeding and system and reduce steam consumption. So those are the areas where we have energy efficiency. The third aspect, under investing in energy efficient machinery and retooling outdated miller processes, is in ESP. ESP is currently the best pollution control system in the sugar industry. It has an efficiency of about 90 to 95, and it's the best currently. So any sugar industry that is bound to reduce its emission, it must have an ESP. However, an ESP requires continuous monitoring, continuous, servicing. If you don't service it, it will just go down. Now, under this efficiency, I was just comparing with cement industries in this country. Cement industry in this country, for every 4 tons that goes into the system, you only get 1 ton of the product out of the system. Then you can imagine what happens with the 3 tons. That is waste that is not accounted for. In sugar industries, I challenge you, the stakeholders in sugar industry. The chair was almost talking about it when he was talking of that sugarcane has 60% water, 25% you get molasses. So suppose we had 4 tons of raw material going into a sugar facility. How much of the product will come out? That will be able to measure the efficiency in the sugar industry. Under the last thematic area, which was certification, certification is a very important tool. I was comparing it with what happened in this country in early 2000. When the consumers of flowers in Europe came up with that certification system to control whatever goes to Europe based on how you produce it. If you are not following certain criteria of producing it, no, the product does not enter their country. If you use a lot of fertilizers into the flower farm and there is that residue that remains beyond a certain level, no way. So it's a marketing tool. It's a very important marketing tool. It also will, in the sugar sector, it will lead to innovation. It will lead into competition in that sector. Again, if this certification system is done properly, it will attract less regulatory visits. Because if we agree on that certification such that if you get, let's say, bronze or you get gold, then it means at that level you have made certain provisions of certain sector, let's say environment, and therefore NEMA does not have to come to you because you are a certified person. So it can lead to that. And who are the stakeholders? I was just putting in my thoughts. This is not a certification system currently in place. I was putting in my thoughts so that it can attract your thinking. And then from here now, I think we can see whether we can develop a certification system. So who are the stakeholders currently that need to sit to come up with certification system? We have the key stakeholders as sugar facilities. We have regulators, we have farmers, and finally, and not least, we have consumers. So these are the stakeholders that we expect that the Kenya Sugar Board will sit down at one point and bring them together so that we can work out this certification scheme. I actually put in a few of my thoughts on how it can look like. This is not a certification scheme for the sugar sector because we don't have it yet, but I was just putting in my thoughts. Whatever is in whichever category, applies with other regulatory agencies. Silver, we could possibly say you should be 50% cogen, that is, grid connection, you must be connected to the grid. You must be fully compliant to EPR, this is extended producer responsibility, the recently regulations by NEMA, and you must also have priority on power purchase agreement. On gold, I was just putting in my thoughts, we could have full zero liquid discharge, SLD, biogas recovery, 75% cogen, organic fertilizer, fully that you are using organic fertilizer for you to be able to get certification for gold, then platinum, and finally, diamond. So these are just my thoughts so that we can discuss and have a framework under which we can have a certification scheme in the country. Thank you very much.
So there you go. Any questions from the floor?
Good morning. Thank you for the presentation. My name is Erica, and I'm in a publishing environment. So my question is, in terms of the certifications that I know you've said it's your ideas. Do you have an idea of how much time would be required for the millers or the stakeholders to kind of comply? So is it something that can be done in 5 years, in 3 years, in 10 years? So what kind of time frames would you be talking about?
Under this proposed certification, it is not that you have to comply to all of them, one at a time, and it's an incremental. So a factory that starts with the bronze and fully certified, it gets bronze. And it means that its product, when they are selling the product, they can put the bronze mark. Then they can move to the next. That way. But before then, the stakeholders, it is not something to be imposed to the sugar facilities. The stakeholders, the ones that I have suggested there, need to sit down and fabricate and come up with a framework similar to what I have put there. Then under each framework, they should agree what goes there. So it's a process that within just even less than 1 year, this framework can be developed and it can be applied. The beauty about this is that the chair did indicate that in the next 2 years, we might be exporting sugar. And we will be there shortly, exporting sugar. If you have to penetrate the market outside the country, These are some of the certifications that you need to demonstrate that you are actually doing the right thing. And they will assist those facilities to be able to sell outside the country. Even in the country, using the consumers, you could see I put consumers there. The consumers could add a voice so that even internally, for you to sell, the consumers, your product, you can be able to be allowed to put those different categories. Now the consumers will have a choice. If they are conscious with what they are taking, similar to what was happening with the flower farm. What happened is that if you are using child labor, your flowers you are boycotted. Nobody will buy your flowers because you are using child labor. So it's a system that we can have a conversation around it.
I'm Willis Odur from Kulea, Kenya. So you are bringing up a very good topic, but there are two areas I want to engage you on. First is on the relevance. Do you feel in your own assessment that the gap is a lack of a certification standard or sensitization towards pursuing certification? Internationally, there is the Bon Sucro, there is the fair trade, which are very popular in some of the export markets that would be targeted, assuming that Kenya is to be a net exporter. Also in terms of, once we have a local certification, what kind of path that do you foresee in terms of merging what we have locally to be internationally recognized? Thank you.
I'm Emmanuel from University of Eldoret. I got curious about using the ash as a fertilizer. Do you have any evidence that inclusion of ash in making of fertilizers performs better compared to the conventional fertilizers people use? And the thing is, if that is the case, why is it that you find that farmers still buy fertilizers from the agrovets? Thank you.
Benjamin, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll start with Emmanuel's question. Currently, yes, it is happening. Kibos is currently selling fertilizer that consists of ash, boiler ash. It's currently in the market. And it's organic fertilizer, specifically targeting the sugar sector and horticulture, because it contains a lot of nitrogen, it contains a lot of phosphates. So it's currently happening. Research we have already reached there. So it's currently happening, and that is what is there. They have done a lot of research on it before releasing the product to the market. So it's currently happening. Mumias, equally, they will be doing that shortly, once now they start doing cogeneration, and also doing the issues about spent wash, dealing with the spent wash. Because eventually, whatever you get at the end of it, it is good organic fertilizer. And it's a matter of just blending and finding out now what else they can add, so that it shouldn't be a situation where we are going to chemical fertilizers, and yet from the same sugar industry, we can be able to get organic fertilizer. What I came up with on the certification are just thoughts. I was told under that thematic area, can you give your thoughts what needs to be done? I can't confess that my thoughts are perfect. This was meant just to generate your discussions, because it has to be done. And you remember, or you recall, I had put it that there are various stakeholders that have to come on board, even research institutions, even universities, to come up with that certification scheme. It's not a one-person thing. It is supposed to be a discussion that has to be done, so that when you are talking of certification of silver, everybody knows what you are talking about. And this needs to be preceded by public awareness to all the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Benjamin. Thank you so much.